or up versus how much we go left or right. So you're essentially going from the lowest dot to the highest dot. Okay, so it's your rise over your run. So up or down versus left or right. Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, and then depending on the two types of graphs, okay, you can have a positive line, it looks like this, and a negative line is going that way. Okay, so the one mistake I would say people make is they're positive or negative, or they forget to reduce the fraction, because a slope is that reduce, okay? And essentially slope is like, it's the same thing as like, I work $10 an hour, right? So the first hour, I have how much money? $10, okay? Well, then if I go to 2 hours, how much money am I gonna have? 20. And if I go to 3 hours, okay, so it progressively goes up at the same rate. That's what slope is, it's a rate. Okay, so if we look at the very first one, so we count from the lowest dot to the highest dot. So which dot is lower, dot 1 or dot 2? 2. Okay, so how much are we gonna have to go up in order to get to this dot? 1. Okay, so 1's gonna go on the top. How much are we gonna have to go over? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we rise 1 and we run 6. And then lastly, we have to look at the two things. Does that fraction reduce? And this is where I said some of you guys are gonna need a calculator, some of you will not. Okay, 1 over 6 doesn't reduce. Okay, 1 over anything never reduces, by the way. Okay, so no, that fraction does not reduce. And then is that a negative or a positive line? Negative. Okay, so when we write negatives, there are 3 ways, okay? And you don't need to write all these down, but, okay, you can either put the negative here, you can put the negative here, or you can put the negative like out in the front. Okay, but you can only use 1. If you use 2, what happens is a negative with a negative means a positive. Okay, so we can only put 1. And I don't care, there is not like a right or wrong way as far as these 3, okay? But you have to have at least 1 negative, okay? So your answer should be negative 1 over 6. Okay, look at number 3. How much do we rise? 1. How much do we run? 3. Okay, does that fraction reduce? No. Is that a positive or a negative line?
Negative.
It is a positive line, so this one is going to be 1/3. The slope is 1/3. Okay, number 5. How much do we rise? How much do we go up? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to rise 4. How much do we run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Does that fraction reduce? It does not. And if you're not sure, I will show you how to do them on the calculator. So that one does not reduce. And then is that a positive or a negative line? It is a positive line. Okay, flip the page. Look at number 7. How much do we rise? How much do we go up?
5.
5, I agree. How much do we run? 8. Okay. Does that fraction reduce? Does 5 over 8 reduce? No. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 7, those are all primes, meaning they cannot go any smaller, by the way. Okay, is that a positive or a negative line? It is a negative line, so we're going to throw a negative on there. Okay, if you're not sure, one way that I can tell that it's negative, okay, if the top of the line, meaning is like in this corner, it's going to be positive. If the top of the line is in this corner, okay, it's going to be negative. Okay, so that's one way that you can tell that they're positive or negative. If some of you guys really struggle as far as like, is that line positive or negative? And if you go back and look at your front page, I guarantee you that rule works. Okay, so if we look at number 1, look at where the line is in that top corner, okay? Because that's the one mistake most of you guys are gonna make, is the positive or negative. You'll get all the stuff right, okay? So the top of my line is in this corner, so that means it's negative. And if we look, we drew a negative, okay? The top of my line is in this corner this time, and that means it's positive, and our answer was positive, okay? Again, if we look at 5, it's in this corner, and it's positive, and we got positive, okay? So that's one way that you can tell if you're not sure about the positive, negative. That usually works. I would say 90% of the time. There's a few cases where it does not necessarily look like that, okay? So if we look at number 9 through 16, that is a separate section. It says find the slope and the y-intercept of each line. So all of these are linear because there's no exponent. Okay, and they go like this. Y equals mx plus b. What is my m?
Slope.
The m is the slope. What's my b? The y-intercept. Okay, and so all they want you to do is find the slope, find the y-intercept. So if we look at number 9, what's next to the x?
Slope.
But what number is it?
1/2.
1/2, which is what? The slope. Well, I know it's half, but... Okay, so my m, or my slope, is going to be 1/2. What's my y-intercept? 4. So b equals 4. That's all we're doing on this one. Okay, look at 11. My slope is what? 2. My y-intercept is 2. Okay, look at 13. My slope is what? 4/3. My y-intercept is 1. Okay, 15. My slope is what? 6. My y-intercept is -3. Okay, you do have to put the negative with that the y-intercept part. Okay, and then lastly, look at 17 through something, 24. Okay, all they want you to do, they gave you the slope and the y-intercept. They want you to write the equation. Okay, so it's going to look like y equals, what's my slope? -3x plus, what's my b? 2. Okay, 19 is going to look like y equals, what's my slope? 3/4x plus 3. Okay, 21 is going to be y equals -2/3 x minus 2. And lastly, 23 is going to be y equals 1x minus 1. Okay, you guys have 12 to do when you're done. Some of you guys still owe me quite a bit of missing.